everyone, Chasing Cinema here at our discreet location, catching up with Mr. Josh Bell of JoshBellHatesEverything.com. Just got out of Stephen Spielberg's new film, Ready Player One, a movie that a lot of people are looking forward to.
Yes.
Might be the beginning of the summer season, and
it might, yeah. I mean, it feels like summer is now all year.
That's true.
It's meaningless. We've got summer movies in February. We've got summer movies in March, and
well, maybe not so much the blockbusters, but maybe we're out of the dump months.
I would hope so.
Okay.
We'll see.
I mean, I haven't really seen anything I like this year besides Black Panther and Annihilation, so I'm hoping this is the kind of change in that.
Yeah.
You did not read the book, neither did I.
No, it's a
which
very
is fairly
popular
recent.
book. Yeah, from 2011, I think it is. Yeah.
But like any film buff, we love the 80s because a lot of great movies. Oh, no.
I mean, I love good movies from any era,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think nostalgia is...
A dangerous thing.
Right, it is, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
To
It can
quote-
be...
To quote Mr. Josh Bell, nostalgia is hell of a drug.
I think it blinds people in a lot of ways to the quality of, movies that are really not that good that you remember from your childhood. Movies or any other kind of books, comics, cartoons that people have this level of fondness for, and it's not worth it.
Well, did you feel that way about Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One?
I mean, it was fine. No, I mean, I think honestly from what some of the stuff that I had read about the book and the criticisms that I've read of the book from people who don't like it, which is that it's just this endless parade of pop culture references that are designed to play on the nostalgia of people, especially who grew up in the 80s, and that there's no substance behind it. I thought that this was more than just that. I mean, there's obviously a lot of references and a lot of things flying at you. I think probably a lot of the ones that we didn't always catch.
Yeah, no.
But there is a story here, even though the story structure is also reminiscent of a lot of 80s kind of quest narratives
Yes.
and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and
Chosen
which is from
one.
earlier than the 80s. But it was relatively entertaining. Yeah.
I think one of the things you pointed out while we were talking to our discrete location, you had said that you were confused on why there was no nostalgia invented or nothing.
There's no pop culture that exists
post the 80s in this
Right.
world.
Well, there's a little bit of stuff from the 90s.
Yeah.
We had the T2
Like Halo,
reference.
yeah, and we had
Yeah,
Halo.
some video game stuff and the
but
Iron
this
Giant.
taking place in 2047.
Right, there's
where are
good-
the 40 years in between?
Right, there's nothing. And I mean, the reason, of course, is because Ernest Cline, who wrote the book, is presumably around my age or maybe a little older and grew up in the 80s, and that's what he has nostalgia for, and thus that's what this movie has nostalgia for and what its target's audience has nostalgia for. But from a world-building standpoint, if we're believing that this is how things really are in 2045, it was not believable. Like, I didn't buy into this world at all.
Oh, wow. I think what's interesting is that, not only is it nostalgia and pop culture, I mean, there is no such thing as pop culture like 80s pop culture. For whatever reason, that decade has always kind of won out, like being the year of pop culture, or the decade of pop culture. I bought into the world. I'm guessing I liked it a little bit more than you did. I don't think it was the best movie I saw this year, but I think there are some really, really good things in it. I had fun, and maybe it is because, like a lot of people, I'm an 80s movie junkie. I don't think it was me seeing the fact that Harley Quinn makes an appearance or Batman. It wasn't anything like that for me. I think I really enjoyed the experience of it just felt different to me. It felt like that we were on this kind of unique journey where we are blending all of these things. You take that element out, I think there is a big hole in the movie, but I don't think it succeeds only on that. I think the chemistry between the High Five crews, as they're called in this game, the members of this team in the Oasis. And like I said, even you said, the story kind of reflects the 80 homage, and even the ending, there are some sequences, which I won't say for spoiler reasons, is very 80s. But overall, I just thought it was a very unique experience. It just felt different. I mean, almost, and maybe I'm going a little bit too far here, and I know you're much more knowledgeable than I am, but almost Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque in the sense that we saw some things that I've never seen before in terms of blending new and old.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I think, is a big reference point for this movie, and it's also, I think, a better movie. Of course, Robert Zemeckis, director of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is a big reference point in this movie, like literally him, not even just things that he created.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and it's been a while since I saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I think that movie did a better job of integrating pop culture-y, familiar things into a different kind of story and giving you a story that was engrossing and entertaining on its own outside of that. Of course, I mean, Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit are original creations to that movie, which you could say also are the main characters in Ready Player One.
But more in the sense that we were able to really kind of master the art of blending animation and reality. Where here we actually use well, maybe not, but what appears to be actual film reels or film clips from other films from older times, and then actually able to insert animated characters in that, and then it almost kind of blurs that line between fantasy and reality, which The Oasis is all about.
Right.
And I think they do that very well. There's a whole sequence of The Shining. I don't know if that's necessarily a spoiler or not, but I mean, it is probably the strongest sequence in the movie, especially if you've seen the movie. So if you haven't seen The Shining yet, and you're going to see Ready Player One, do yourself a favor and see it. But I think that's one of the strongest things that this movie offers.
I mean, I guess. Like, I feel like, Roger Rabbit was something where it was a technical achievement.
Yes.
Everything else aside, that no one had ever made a movie that integrated animation and live action in that way, like smoothly and effectively for the running time of a feature film, really. And not that this movie doesn't look good or that the effects aren't effective, but I feel like it doesn't do anything that plenty of other blockbuster movies have done before.
Yeah, no, I
mean, I was reminded a lot of Avatar, not only in the way that the Olivia Cooke's character looks with kind of her big eyes, she looks like a pink Na'vi, or at least that was what I kind of thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea of the real world person, porting himself into this other world and this character, and then getting caught up in that, and that becoming almost more important than than the real world. Although the actual world, of course, is asserted
which
here
I agree
at the end.
has some flaws and has some things I was kind of curious about, and just how this whole outside world works. And I figured we would spend kind of back and forth, but we really do spend about 85%, if not 90%, in the Oasis.
I mean, this is a movie about winning a video game, and a lot of it feels like watching someone else play a video game, which was. I'm trying to think about recently. I can't, but
Tomb Raider?
I like Tomb Raider too. Sometimes I don't know if that was the one, but I was saying that about some other movie recently. And like, video games are great, but and I'm not a gamer, but I have no problem saying that like a video game is art. But what makes a video game engrossing is you are a participant in it, and if you are just a passive observer to someone else's quest, there needs to be a richer narrative there, and I just don't.
Well, I guess the only way to make this movie interactive and to truly kind of make you feel like you're playing it is being able to identify and choose who all these other people are and catch the references.
Right.
That's where, but that is where the interaction comes in. It's, that's blah, 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 that's blah, 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 that's blah, blah, blah. Right. So I think that's kind of where it is. I agree with you. I think the movie has flaws. I liked it better than you. I think it is more unique, and I think it's fun, and I had a blast. I was smiling, I was cracking up. I mean, they're the most subtle references for your biggest fanboy, and I think it's a movie that also celebrates. It's kind of a movie where, unlike, what was the one with, I don't remember who was in it, where they were doing the truth or dares on the phone. And like
Nerve? Is that the one?
Nerve, yeah. Which a movie that just basically hated this generation and hated the idea that we're always behind ourselves.
Right.
This movie kind of embraces both.
Yeah, the ultimate moral, not to ruin the end, but
is it though?
I mean, kind of. That's kind of how I felt about it. That it was. I mean, again, it's all very cheesy, and at least it doesn't go hard on the idea of like
we need to step out of our
right. Playing the video game, in fact, is the way that these people,
live.
Right, not only live, but triumph. That's what, again, it's a movie about winning a video game. That's what you have to do in order to beat the bad guy, the real world bad guy. And so that's nice, I guess. I mean, it's I don't think it's a movie I could hate because it's just
fun.
Pleasant. I mean, it is fun, but also it's like a little puppy dog of a movie. It just wants to be liked so much.
Spielberg needs it on his poster. Puppy dog of a movie.
But I think especially compared to some of the stuff that Spielberg, I feel like on the serious movie front, Spielberg has made some great stuff in the last few years with The Post, Bridge of Spies, Lincoln, and his blockbustery movies have gotten more and more kind of like superficial, candy-coated, like the BFG or Tintin, which I both think are worse. I hated Tintin.
Okay. So this isn't as bad as those.
No, but I think it's
still not as good as this drama.
It just feels very disposable and very superficial. And I mean, you can go back to older Spielberg blockbuster movies, and it's not that they're always super profound, but I feel like there's a lot more to grab onto, even in a movie like Jurassic Park, than there is in this movie.
I think the problem, well, the major differences here is that I just had a really good time. I'm kind of high off maybe the nostalgia, like you said, it being a hell of a drug, but I think the movie holds up in the regards that it just doesn't only depend on nostalgia.
Yeah.
And maybe that's kind of where it differs. And yes, there are definitely flaws, but I think overall the energy of the movie, though it could be, and I think we agree here, it could be shorter. It does not need to be 2 hours and
Right.
change.
No, it's a very, very simple story that
Yes.
could have been condensed. Yeah.
But overall, I think it was one of the better movies I've seen so far this year.
I think that is really a reflection of how little of quality there has been so far this year. But no, I would say I would give it a mild recommendation, and especially if you have that fanboy mentality and you would catch all the references.
It does celebrate
and you would-
fandom.
Right, and so there's a lot of people who love fandom almost just for the sake of it
Yes.
itself.
Even a small screening like ours for the critics had plenty of people dressed
Right,
up.
and saying, whoa, and applauding at little references and stuff. So if that's your thing, then
This is-
it's an entertaining
Which is
package
very,
of that.
it's kind of hard not to get
You know, it's like Comic-Con as a movie or something.
I totally agree. You're going to be reviewing this movie on Friday on Channel 13
Yes.
at 11 or 11:30.
It's at 11:15ish usually.
11:15
There you go.
Turn
Probably
into Channel
online
13
after
for all
that.
of our locals, and you can always catch all of his stuff. Follow his blog, and you can find everything else where he's at joshbellhateseverything.com.
Yes.
You can read our full review at chasingcinema.com, and Ready Player One. I think it's worth seeing.
Maybe.
Chasingcinema.com is known as the film lovers website.